Yo, this is PK. You're watching channel APA, broadcasting Asian America with my boy Steve Nguyen, or if you're white, Steve Nguyen. But I didn't know it was Nguyen, not Nguyen, until this year, so I was pretty ignorant as well. So collaboration in the year 2000. I saw there was a lot of K-pop shows. But, I love K-pop, but K-pop is very synthetic, like synthesizers and lasers and fog and people in shiny outfits and everything. And it was cool, but it didn't really represent us. Like Asian Americans were a group caught in between. Like we don't fully fit in America, and then when we go to Asia, we don't fully fit there as well. So we needed a show to represent Asian America. It's kind of like what channel APA is doing. We need to provide a stage for our people. And we started in K-Town. That's why it's in a collaboration with a K. Actually, Ben Chung from the Jabberwockies. I like the name collaboration, bring the community together. And he's like, how about with the K? So collaboration with the K, starting K-Town, and then the first show, it was really hard. I poured my blood, sweat, and tears. Lost a lot of money. Actually, most of the shows we lose a lot of money, but it's been growing ever since. The first show is 400. Next show is 800 people came out, then 1,200, and then we started in Chicago, New York, Toronto, Atlanta. Now it's in 10 cities. We just did it in collaboration in Tulsa, Oklahoma. People drove in from 10 different states. So the people in the big cities are really spoiled, like the coast, but Middle America, they're starving for any kind of Asian empowerment. So our mission is empowerment through entertainment, and it started 10 years ago, and it's grown. It's a dream come true. Some notable winners. Just some people that have been on our stage. Ben Chung from the Jabberwockies. They're performing in Vegas now, MGM. Far East Movement. They performed a few times for collaboration, and they opened for Lady Gaga in Japan. How big that they are, and they get millions of views on YouTube. Girls on the dance floor like a G6, and they're just getting started. They're the hardest working guys in hip hop, and I love those guys. Really down to earth. Dumbfounded. I think best Asian lyricist in the world, one of the best rappers in the world. I think he's a future superstar. Who else is there? Quest Crew. Just destroyed the stage. Really creative. America's Best Dance Crew as well. Kaba Modern. Mike Song said he was really inspired by collaboration. It was one of the biggest reasons why he pursued dancing. Ken Oak Band, Oak and Gorski, Clara Chung, David Choi, Kina Granis, Jane Louie. A lot of the Asian YouTube stars have been on our stage, and also have been guest judge. And we're here at Collaboration Acoustic. Marie Digby, she sounds amazing, and yeah, almost every Asian comedian has been on our stage. Almost every, I would say like 80% of them. So if I left you out, I'm sorry. I know you're gonna shove it in my face. So blow it up. So I have to give 95% of the credit to co-founder Adrian Hong. He was the one that was always talking about North Korea with me, and I've always knew there was a need and people are starving. It's probably one of the worst human rights crises ever. They're brainwashed. A lot of people are tortured. A lot of people starve to death. There's reports of people eating leaves, dirt, bugs, carcasses. And if you're caught escaping, they sent back, tortured. It's a really bad situation, and it's like the world's biggest cult there. And so Adrian Hong from Yale, he graduated from Yale. He was the one that really educated me, and I provided the whole artistic element. At KASCON is one of the biggest it's the biggest Korean college student conference. I wrote a song about what we can do, and then there was 800 students there. We all got together, stood up, and just promised. It's kind of cheesy, but we promised that we're going to make a difference, and it exploded. Link grew into 70 chapters across the nation, and I think it's worldwide now. And it just shows, once you have a passion, a heart for something, and you really, work hard to set it in motion, people will. There are a lot of good people that will help the movement and join the movement. So ever since I was young, my dad's a preacher. I always saw, my dad started a church with one family and he grew it to 3,000 people. And I always saw one person with a mic can move a lot of people. And for me, my dad was really busy and everything, and my parents were always visiting all the church people, and, trying to pray for them and take care of them. So I was always home alone. I'm the last of 5. I was always home alone, and so once I saw Eddie Murphy Delirious, I wasn't allowed to see it as a preacher's kid, but I got a tape from my friend. Once I saw it, game over. I knew that's what I wanted to do. He was 21, performing in front of 15,000 people, all different races. And the thing about laughter is it breaks down all the walls, and laughter is the closest distance between two people. Like at that moment, you really connect souls, and you forget about everything else. You just forget about your problems, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. And Johnny Carson, I used to watch a lot growing up, and there's 4 pastors in my family, but for me, stand-up comedians keep it more real. Like, stand-up comedians say what everybody's thinking, but what everybody's afraid to say. Like, if you watch Chris Rock, every time he says something, you're like, dude, that's so true. Like, he says what everybody's afraid to say. And so, like, there's a lot of things at church, you always say what you're supposed to say. And, like, especially in Asian culture, you're supposed to save face, and you're always worried about what you're supposed to say. But stand-up comics, just say it. And that's why the comedy club is one of my favorite places in the world. And I was always chicken to really pursue it, but one of my friends, in Korean culture, Hyung, kind of like an older brother, he passed away in an accident, in a small plane accident actually. And I remember at the funeral, his mom was, saying like he didn't do what he wanted to do. He wanted to become a pilot. And a lot of us in our life, we half-ass, like I was working in the corporate world and I really wanted to do comedy, so I had my feet in both worlds, so I didn't really pursue it. And you can't half-ass, you gotta go all out. Like, who cares if your friends have better cars or better brand name clothes? Like, later on, if you pay your dues, they're gonna be the ones looking at you like, dang, he really went for what he loved doing, And so it doesn't have to be entertainment, it's whatever you like. It could be an office job as well, whatever. My wife's an attorney and her sister's a doctor, and it's basically whatever you love doing in life. Life is so short, This life it's done. And I was a philosophy major, so this life is, if this is the beginning of eternity, this is the end of eternity. This life is this long, and then it's done. So you gotta pursue your dreams. There's a big controversy. A lot of stand-up comics, they don't consider YouTube comedians real comedians, and I'm like 50-50 on that. I'm like, they're calling me right now. I'm 50-50 on that, but I waited to start my channel until I can upload all my stand-up comedy videos. So I uploaded all my recent stand-up comedy videos just to show those comics like, all right, I've been doing live comedy for 7 years. But now I started my channel. It's called Channel PK Town. If you can check it out, Channel PK Town on YouTube. I'm gonna be just doing some crazy stuff. Everything short of running around naked.